almost there. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I was pulling up my joke.
Oh, you really think you so proud of yourself with that joke? Just as tickled. All right then. Well, if you so proud of yourself, tell me a joke.
Okay.
A lot different when you on the spot, huh?
So, why did the student eat his homework?
I don't know why.
Because the teacher told him it was a piece of cake.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Now, why did the mushroom keep getting invited to all the great parties?
I don't know.
Because he was a fun guy.
Oh,
You get it?
okay.
Fun guy. Mushroom. Yeah, yeah.
I got you.
So, my friend,
Yes.
I told you a tale.
Okay.
Yes. We set up exactly what we would talk about, but I'm going to start with something completely different. But it's a piece of cake.
Okay.
When we first met, I want to know, now that we can fast forward down the road several years, tell me what you think about when we first met. Because it's like I came out of nowhere. I was like, I'm gonna help you.
Honestly, I was like, you have got to be a fool, Sonja. Like, this person that you don't know has asked you to meet you here at whatever time of night in the middle of nowhere, and you don't know, like, what's wrong? Like, I think about that sometimes, like, what was wrong with you? So, I guess it was just meant to be.
Right. But I'm saying I'm always like, okay, down the road, I make sense. And so down the road, do I make sense to you?
You do. I mean, it fits. It fits. You know,
right.
It fits. The way it all happened, it fit. But, I was thinking on the way over here, I was like, but you know what? This man has always been supportive. Like, from day one, before almost anyone, he was supportive and he was in my corner. So I appreciate that. And you've always been encouraging.
And I always will. Well, we're about to transition from one, level of service here in the city of Birmingham to an even larger level of service. And what we're talking about, of course, is you're going to.
I'm running for the city council.
Yes. But as a school board representative, what are you most proud of as far as your service on the school board?
I think collectively, I'm most proud of the relationships and partnerships that I've been able to build and develop that have assisted our students and provided opportunities for our students. So, for instance, with Birmingham Sister Cities, the opportunity we have for students to earn college credits through the Dual Enrollment Academy, and then also for those students to travel abroad. Last year they went to Japan. This year they're going to Africa. So providing those types of opportunities. Also partnering with our neighborhood leaders to provide food boxes to our students in all schools of District 8. And we were doing that before COVID made food boxes popular. So having a conversation with someone and saying, okay, well, what can I do? I can't change the entire school system, but what can I do? What little bit can I do? And knowing that students were not able to perform well because they were coming to school hungry, then we were able to partner with community leaders, churches, the food bank, and have these boxes curated for families in every district. And that was, like I said, before COVID, 2017, 2018, that we were doing that. And that's a program that still continues to this day, and it's still only in District 8. So that's something that makes me really proud, because that's something that hopefully will outlast me and have a long-lasting impact on our students. And then just thinking about this more recently, pushing that we could have more money allocated to the arts. So
yeah.
Just looking at how our bands are just getting smaller and smaller, and asking the question of why, finding out that students aren't learning instruments in middle school, and being able to provide instruments and instructors, and just provide the additional funding to make that possible, such that this year we had the largest participation ever in our winter holiday music festival. So
Really?
we did. So that's something that makes me really proud, as someone whose background is in music.
Yeah.
It's something that makes me proud to know that we've been able to have that kind of impact on our students. So.
I was so excited to talk about and get it out of you. I'm running for city council. That we didn't talk about who you are, right?
Okay.
Although you've been on the podcast. Um, let's talk about who are you?
Okay.
Where are you from?
Okay.
Your parents.
Uh-huh.
How many brothers and sisters do you have? You know, what was your matriculation? What was your first job? Like, talk about you, but professionally. Professionally.
Okay.
Your career.
Okay. So, I guess about me. So I am from Birmingham, went to Hoover High School, and I have one younger sister. And so I don't, you don't know this, and a lot of people don't know this, but she was actually killed this past summer. So, and I say that because it was a domestic violence incident, and it needs to just, can't just sugarcoat it as to, but so, but she had 2 children. Her oldest son, my nephew, and I were always really, really close. And he's spent a lot of time with my parents, lived with them for a long time. So that is, him and I are really close. So like, he was up here this past weekend rather, for prom. So we, which was its own experience that I did not know happened the way that it happened, especially for a boy who apparently needed a team to help him get ready. So, drop the phone. You're gonna help me get ready. Okay, sir. So,
I love it.
Right.
His
But
squad, his entourage.
He has an entourage. He does. He has an entourage, but so it was good to see him have that experience, and talking about what's going to happen next year. So that's probably my favorite person. So when you ever see pictures of little people, I guess he's not little, but young boys, that's probably going to be him. So that's so. And so it's a small family. But my background is in music. I started playing when I was 5.
Okay.
And I went to Birmingham Southern, went to LSU for grad school, moved to Chicago for a little bit. I was teaching there, taught high school, taught junior college, and then also taught private piano lessons. So I moved back about 2012 to Birmingham, and been doing project management work since. So pretty much my career has been spent helping people either through education or in the realm of healthcare. So working to help manage a grant with the Affordable Care Act for about 5 years when that first launched. And then more recently, the last 4 or 5 years, I've been working at UAB, where I am the director of the Lifespan Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center. So really working between our adult sickle cell clinic, our pediatric clinic, and research, and managing some grants there. And outreach and fun stuff like that.
We got to get you back and dive into some sickle cell stuff. Seriously,
Yes, yes,
we
especially
really
around Awareness Day.
exactly,
Yes, and Awareness Month. Yes,
exactly.
for sure. Yes.
And now the next question is, tell me about you,
About me.
like not professionally, not not stuffy, but like tell me your little story. Tell me a little story about Sonja.
So I guess about me in my non-professional world, like I said, my nephew is probably the person that anyone who knows me, like really knows me, knows that I will drop everything for him.
Yeah.
So that's my person, and I also play tennis. So I play over at the Ensley Rec Center, playing a couple teams out of there.
Okay.
And I have my what is it, like your old person hobby?
Yeah.
I think it is. So like gardening.
Okay.
So
what you got in your garden this year?
Some of everything. So mostly flowers. I mostly do flowers.
Okay.
I've got a few like herbs and stuff like that, but mostly flowers.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I have tomatoes and Brussels sprouts. It's like I only had like 3 things. I'm trying to remember what it was. Strawberry.
Okay. Okay.
I think that was all I did this
year.
Yeah. Trying to make sure I wrap up all of those questions before I ask why the city council, right? Why not one more term on the school board? Clearly, you're not done with, being a public servant. But why this seat in particular?
Yeah. I'll be honest. People would always ask me about the council, and I would say no, and I legit meant it. But it wasn't until
I can vouch for that. I was one of those people.
Right, several people did, and it took me really just talking more to sitting councilors and just getting their opinions and learning more about the role to understand it and appreciate it from a different perspective. So,
right.
At this point, having served on the school board for the last 8 years has been great, and it's been an honor. It's just at some point you have to know when your time is up, and I think at this point it's time for someone else to come in and offer fresh ideas on the school board. And like you said, I'm not ready to stop serving, and so I still do believe in my district. I still want what's best for where I live. I believe that District 8 really and truly can be the best district in the city, and that's really, that's really it. Like I just want us to be the best, and want to work with my neighbors and our neighborhood officers and how we can make that happen.
I think I'm gonna do that again.
Okay. Yeah, they got real loud.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's only temporary.
No worries. All right. So with that being said, what do you hope to accomplish on the city council?
So what I hope to accomplish, I've got like 3 main pillars. So one would be still continuing to.
No, wait. Time out. We needed to do why city council again, right?
Yes, you said you want to do that again.
All right. How did I get into that?
You were saying I've served on the school board.
Yeah. All right, boom. So you have served on the school board. You're obviously not ready to end your public service. Why the city council, though? Why specifically that?
Yeah, I think anyone who knows me knows that city council was not something that was really on my radar. It wasn't something that I ever really wanted, so to speak. But more recently, in talking to counselors and just getting a better sense of what they do, I have a better appreciation for it. So
Yeah, I can completely vouch for that. I really thought you weren't going to do it at one point. I was like, she is not going to run.
it
Yeah,
took a lot of
it
thought and
took a lot.
prayer. You know, because it's a lot, not just on you, it's on your family. And it's thinking about your job and thinking about those other people who count on you and obligations that you have. So it's more than a notion.
Yeah.
To really do it and do it the way that I feel it should be done. So, school board, city council, because simply because I believe in my district. I believe in District 8. And I want us to be the best district, but more importantly, I know that it's possible. We have a lot of gems, we have a lot of great things happening, and we just need a little bit of a elevation.
Yeah. Now, what do you hope to accomplish um, as a city council person, specifically here in District 8? However, you want to answer that question, right?
Okay. So that's kind of twofold for me. When I first ran in 2017, I said that I wanted to advocate, communicate, and be transparent. And that's something that I've really, like, really had really worked to do to uphold these last 8 years. And even when it came to communicating things that were not fun and I didn't want to have to say to my neighbors, I still went to neighborhood meetings and said those things. So that, as just like the core tenets of how I operate, like that will still continue. What I want to do within our district more tangibly, I guess, would be um, first around our neighborhoods. So we have some really great streets here in District 8, but then we have some that need a little bit of love. So starting with those that need the most attention, providing them the supports so that we can work on neighborhood stabilization. And then also working with our new police chief to send a clear message that we will not tolerate illegal dumping in our area. Our small businesses, that's very important to me as well. Supporting the small businesses that we have while also providing opportunities, support, a small business incubator, if you will, in District 8 so that those new ones can be able to thrive. And then lastly, continuing with our students. So just knowing, having served on the school board, we know that there's more than just what happens between 8 and 3. And knowing that learning takes place outside of the classroom as well. So providing those exposure opportunities for our students so that they can know what's out there and think big, but also be prepared for what's to come.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. What experiences, what training, what preparation can you use that you've learned on the school board that you can transfer to working on the city council?
Okay. All right. So what have I learned that I can then transfer to the city council?
Yeah.
So, so let me just back up and say that a lot of times I think that people have a misunderstanding of what it means to be an elected official, like be a school board member or a city councilor.
Right.
And I don't know that they realize that the majority of people have more authority than we do. For instance, as a regular citizen, you can go to a school and you can walk in and you can ask all kinds of questions and you can request to see all kinds of documents that I personally cannot. It would be considered micromanagement. And same something similar when it comes to the council. So as a citizen, you and me right now can call a department head or call and complain about this to almost anyone that works for the city. But as a counselor, you can't do that.
Right.
So a lot of times I've seen people on the school board become frustrated because they don't realize that the position is more about policy. So I think what has prepared me is that experience and just knowing that what can make you successful as an elected official is how you deal with policy and partnerships. So putting in place those policies that can create the change that it is that you really want, but then also being able to use those partnerships that you make and those relationships that you build so that you can see for yourself that meaningful difference. Because I sit and I watch some people trying to change the whole school system, and you will spin your wheels and be frustrated if that's what you're trying to do. Because you're just one vote.
Right.
So you can't change anything unless it's 5 of you.
Right.
So there's that. But then, too, because it is a lot to change a huge ship like a city or a school system. It takes years. So focus on what you can change. And so, yes, definitely looking at how you can use those partnerships and how you can use policy to have that change that you want. So that's what I feel like has been most helpful.
All right.
Yes.
Anything else?
So something else that we've done on the school board that I've been really proud of is the decreasing our student-teacher ratio. So we were able to provide aides at those lower levels where we knew that students needed the most support, so kindergarten through 3rd grade especially. Having an additional aide in the classroom meant that you had a smaller student-teacher ratio. So you go from 24-25 to 1 to 12 to 1, which is a huge difference.
Huge difference.
So that has been something that I feel has been a credit to why we've been able to see some gains when it came to academic achievement at those lower levels in the last couple of years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Not really. I mean, experience matters. Experience. I just, you just really, I can't emphasize that enough. Just how much experience matters, and knowing how to navigate these bureaucratic systems. It's not as easy as it seems, and
right.
A lot of people get out there and they're like, "I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make them do that," and it's just like, it's just not quite how it works. I mean, it sounds really good.
Getting on the school board, I bet you it took you a whole year to find where the bathrooms were. I mean, it takes time.
It takes time. And when this last board came on, I remember saying to someone, like, it's going to take time for you to really understand everything. I was fortunate enough that I had my predecessor in my seat just was open and really poured into telling me a lot about what the role was about and just understanding the school board. And I tried explaining that to one of my newer colleagues, and their response was, "Oh, that's okay. I'll get it. I'm a fast learner. I'll get it in like 2 or 3 months." Okay. Right. All I could do is just like smile and say, "Okay," because sometimes you just have to learn for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like we're in 4 years. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to learn things for yourself. Sometimes things take longer.
Right. Longer than 3 months.
Longer than 3 months, longer than 3 years, but
That's right.
That's okay.
That is. Yeah. Any shout outs?
Any shout outs?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
We're going to start with your nephew.
We'll start with my nephew, so shout out to Marcus.
And other people on the school board.
Shout out to my parents.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. So shout out to all of District 8.
Outstanding. Now, do you have any closing messages? Anything you want to leave us with? And without a shadow of a doubt, right before I turn this camera off, you got to look dead in that lens and ask people for their vote.
Okay. Well, hi, I'm Sonja Smith, the current District 8 School Board Member, and I am running for the City Council here in District 8.
Wait, I had it on the wrong camera. All right, now do it.
Hi, I'm Sonja Smith. I am the current District 8 School Board Member. I am here running for the City Council in District 8, so I'm asking for your vote, asking for your support, and asking that you will vote for Sonja Smith on August 26th for the City Council.
I'm sorry. How can people find you? Website, that stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me online.
Yep.
Yeah, you can find me online.
Do it to that one this time.
All these cameras around here. It's just like, where to look. Okay, so you can find me online at sonjaforcouncil.com. That's Sonja, SONJAFOR council.com. You can also find me on social media, so Facebook and Instagram at Vote Sonja Smith. Again, Sonja with a J. And those are the two places where you can learn more about my platform, learn more about me, and kind of see where I am and how we can connect. Well, of course, as we are meeting this Holy Week and we are preparing for Easter, I can't leave without wishing District 8 and the greater Birmingham area a very, very happy Easter. Hope you have a wonderful weekend with your family and friends, and look forward to seeing you soon.